Good. How are you?
Well.
Good.
Doing well. It was strange. I very rarely get streamed team coaching session, and I got 2 back-to-back today.
Weird.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, okay. So I had an early start. I'm having a late finish, but yeah, I apologize for cutting things a little close here, but we're here. I guess that's what matters here. So let me get y'all's form pulled up here, and then we'll go from there. So here's the way I like to do things. Just a heads up. I like to go through the form. I like to get to know each of you guys, at least like your role, your name, and then the juice starts to flow because I'm going to ask each and every single one of you, what do you guys suck at? What do you feel like is like the inhibiting factor from you being a little bit better? What do you think is like the next step for you guys as a team? And we kind of put all our heads together. We debate, discuss, we yell, we holler, we cry, we weep, and then we take what we like, kind of like what the main takeaways are from what you guys think. Then we apply. I'll answer questions and we'll discuss it, and then we'll actually take what we've discussed and we'll go hunting in the replay codes, basically. So we'll use what we talked about to actually know what we're looking for in the actual gameplay footage. So we don't just blindly go in and VOD review. We actually know what we're looking for. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as just a quick disclaimer, if any questions at all come up, you guys totally feel free to just yell. Just let interrupt me. Whatever you need to do, just let me know. Okay. So let's take a look at the form here. 4.3 to 4.4K. You guys scrim 2 or 3 times a week. That's awesome. Okay. We want to be able to contest 4.5, 4.6K teams. We also sign up for tournaments. Goals here are long-term goals to eventually be able to compete in OD and perform decently in it. Short-term goals to refine our gameplay in scrims and tourneys. Okay. What do you feel is holding you back, team, from improving? We'll delve more into this individually, but we are an off-meta team with semi-inflexible players. Okay, that really excites me. I love my off-meta coaching so much. Did you guys see? I had a video a long time ago. Where I coached. It was I think the best collegiate team in UK. And wait. Shoot, best. It was like they had a Roadhog, Sim, Brig. They were all OTPs.
That sounds like
And it was a blast. And so we had to like come up with like what was the neutral fight play for them. And like we came up with so much fun stuff. It was great. Okay. We also have problems with fight planning. Okay. Also one of our players is mute. Okay. We are recently shy or something like that. Okay. We are also experimenting on tank lineup. Our roster is made of change-ups. One of our friends told us, okay, so sounds good. Okay, so let's just start with introducing everybody here. So just go down from the top of the voice channel, starting with Ace says hi. Just give me like your name or like what you prefer to be called, and then your role within the team, like what coach, support, tank, whatever.
All right. My name is Ace, and I am the flex DPS player for the team.
Flex DPS. And what DPS? I have to ask with you guys especially. what DPS is that usually?
I play the cancer heroes. I play May, Sim, Junkrat, Torb.
May, Sim, Torb, Junkrat. You know, I did a complete DPS guide. And I was starting with the projectile heroes this week on stream, you know? Mm-hmm. And I realized the projectile heroes are so much more interesting to coach because there's May, Sim, Torb, and Junkrat. Okay, nice to meet you, Ace. All right, next.
Hi, I'm Ethan. But also like you could, sorry.
Can I call you E-Dog? I'm not gonna call you E-Dog.
You can call me whatever. But
okay, sounds good.
My name's Kieran Spirit.
Okay.
Yes. I'm the tank player. So
okay.
The starting tank player. For the longest time, I played Hog for our team.
Right.
And
then you took a shower.
I have to do that religiously.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I've been recently playing like a lot of Queen for our team.
Also. Queen. Okay.
And for this past scrim, you'll see me playing Sigma.
Okay, a little bit of Queen, a little bit of Sigma. Alrighty, sounds good. Next.
All right. My name is Hidden. You can call me Alex as well. I play tank mostly, but I kind of flex to everything and play everything. It's kind of strange.
You're the hyperflex.
Got it.
I'm literally hyperflex. I play pretty much everything.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Next.
Okay, Chris. I'm
Nice to meet you.
support.
Support, you said?
Yeah, I'm the flex support.
Flex support.
So
Okay.
basically Anna, Pap, and Kiri.
Okay. The real Chad role, because that's my role.
Yeah.
Support, carry on a map. Okay, next.
Hi, my name is Gordon. You guys those call me Turbo here, and I am the benched captain for this team. I used to play the tank role, but I've been just trying to focus on getting back into the game. I kind of took like a 1 month off basically, and
Yep.
I play the Reinhardt, the Ramatra, the Orisa, and the Sigma.
Okay. Okay. All right, next.
I'm Slurpee. I'm the hit scan DPS.
Ooh.
But I also kind of.
Do you shower?
Yes.
Okay.
I kind of play any DPS needed that's not in a specified hero pool. Unless I need to
Okay.
play his hero pool, then I will.
Okay.
So
Okay. And bless me if it isn't upsetty spaghetti.
Hello. You can call me Calvin. I'm also known as Abandoned. I'm
Okay.
the main support player, and then I usually play Lucio. But there's like some comps where I do have to we had to run double flex. So I'll play like Kiriko or Alari.
Okay. Next. Okay. Now we got to the real juice. So nice to meet all you guys. We now need to figure out what the heck is wrong with you guys. Now the forum insinuated maybe has some issues with flexing to different comps, maybe some of the fight planning. But I want to go down the list, and if you were to prioritize 1, 2 things, and keep in mind, we're obviously the easy thing is to focus on oh, we're bad at this comp or we need to do this, but communication, scrim, mentality, somebody's super toxic, you just freaking hate your Roadhog player. I don't really care what it is. If you were to prioritize 1 or 2 things, starting with you, Ace, I'm putting you on the spot here.
Mhm.
But what would you prioritize as the next step of improvement for you guys? Not even necessarily problems, but just what do we need to move on to?
I think one of our biggest things is fight planning or also the neutral fight. I feel like there's just a lot of downtime for us
Mhm.
when we're just not doing anything. And I also think that a lot of the problems kind of right now we're kind of lucky because I know it's Sig, Mei, Bastion meta right now kind of. But I know a lot of the problems stem from me being pretty inflexible with my hero pool.
Sure. Okay. So, okay, Ethan.
Yes.
And
What
you
is
can
art?
echo points. You don't have to come up with something creative on your own, but just speak your heart.
I think some of the bigger things that we lack on is sometimes there's sometimes gaps in our comms that I'll notice. Or sometimes I'm calming and then I'm asking for someone to either echo back or someone to confirm something with me. But that's just sometimes when we have off days.
Okay. So sometimes some gaps in the communication, essentially, when things need to be echoed back or there needs to be some sort of a conversation and you're speaking to the void.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking to the wall.
Yeah. Classic. Okay. Hidden.
Yeah. So I think our main thing is fight planning and communication. Just in general.
Okay. Any communication that comes to mind for you specifically besides the fight planning?
Specifically, target calling mid fight.
Okay.
Because it's not. I don't know. It tends to be only a few people that actually target call.
Yep.
So it's if that person dies in the fight, then it just doesn't happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep, I know what you mean. The way I like to look at target calling too is it might not just be calling the target, but calling an action. Hey, what are we doing right now, right? And if somebody is dead, that usually takes a little bit of ownership with that. Then we're kind of sit in our hands and just wait for something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, makes sense. And then Chris.
Basically, what they said, targeting will target something and then not everyone targets that, and it's just like no following up on that. And
Yep.
then obviously the ult usage.
Well, usage. Okay. Any ults in particular? Call somebody out. Put them on roast.
Well, I know me, but that's like just a solo thing. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how to ult, but
Sure.
sometimes like we dedicate too many ults and then no ults. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So either end of the extreme. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Turbo.
For me, it'll probably be two key outliers that my team actually reminded me in the past, which is mainly the mechanical skills and understanding of maps for playing tank and taking space and realizing that there's limits to how much you can take in before you
Yeah.
die. And then the second one is I'm not too sure how to communicate with my team to like push on forward or how to direct
Yeah.
direct the team if I'm playing the tank role.
Got it. Okay. Slurpee?
It's also the same theme of fight planning, because sometimes it does feel like too much neutral that like there's nothing known to do for
Yeah.
the upcoming fight, and so I'm just kind of there like guessing like, oh well, I hope I hit a headshot.
Right. Can I pause here really quick? Do you feel like, and maybe honestly, anyone previously who's spoken can chime in too, when we're talking about like this neutral comm space, is it a discipline or we're not in the habit of communicating what we know? Is it ignorance, not really knowing what to call or what to do? Or do you think it's a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both for sure.
I think I think it's a little bit of both because you'll see in like one of our first maps here, we kind of just hit our head against the wall over like we just try to do the same thing and then it just keeps on not working out for us. And then after the map we realize like, wait, why didn't we just do the thing we should have done? Like why didn't we go the other like we just kept on trying to go the same way, do the same thing over and over again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Makes sense.
Me personally, I think it's more or less I get overwhelmed once a fight starts kicking off and both teams are like oh it's like a trade, it's 4v4 or it's 3v4 and it's like I start getting overwhelmed on where to call.
I noticed that you have the voices in my head roll. Maybe that's the problem. It's too much. Okay. Calvin, your priorities?
I think pretty much what they said, since I'm the last person, is kind of hard to sum up with
Of course.
other points. But I think team fighting and then execution, calling out targets, and then I just had one, but it just left my mind for a second. But
was
I
it
guess,
potentially maybe use swapping roles to Turbo TP?
Definitely not that.
Unfortunate. But yeah, if it comes out later, just holler.
Yeah, I think it was something with like playing together as a team, like as a unified
Sure.
team.
Yeah,
Sure.
sometimes we split, like our focus is split, and it's a little.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so definitely seems like overall the biggest thing is just like having quality fight planning, which is a little bit of discipline, but also a lot of ignorance, not kind of knowing what to do. Not just kind of in the ult planning though, just kind of in knowing like what do we do versus this matchup? Like how do we beat this composition? Like what do we do in the neutral? Maybe a little bit of mid-fight fight planning as well. And I guess it's trickling out into like whether we can push or not, how many ultimates should we be using? Are we using too many? Are we using too few? And even just like a target focus. But a lot of communication seems to be like the biggest takeaway. Would you guys all agree with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So what we would like to do is obviously we would love to have a VOD with comms, but I assume that's probably not something that you guys have, just a replay code.
Yeah.
Wait, actually,
that's
hold on.
okay.
Oh, no. Hold on. Gordon, did you stream our
Gordon,
last
do you have
scrim?
any? Yeah.
Or our last scrim.
He
Yeah,
showed
on
up late. He showed up
oh,
late.
you showed up late. Oh, never mind.
That's okay. That's okay. Because here's what we could do is we can go from a recent scrim. We can remember what happened as best as we can, but also we could extrapolate a little bit. We can get like, hey, I could tell somebody wasn't calling here. Or what should we call in the moment? And we can practice, not just like critique, oh, we should have called this or you should be calling this. We could also make a plan of like, what are we going to practice next time? Because I think here's I'm going to be honest with you guys. Communication is like usually more simple than complicated, but it takes a lot of discipline to be able to do consistently. So because it takes a lot of discipline to do it, it can be very difficult and it can be very easy to bite off more than you can chew, essentially. To where like we could walk away from this and I could give you a 7-step plan to immediate communication at an Overwatch League level. But we all know that you guys wouldn't do that, and you wouldn't be able to do it. Not because you're lazy or stupid, just because it would be such a big ask, right, to do all at once. While we're also thinking about our comps and we're also thinking about our mechanics here. So what I would like to do is I would like to give you guys a couple of things, a very basic level 1 structure to start with now, and then maybe down the road we'll move on to level 2 and add a little bit more responsibility once those level 1 calls feel natural. See, that's the thing is like, who's the most communicative person in this voice call? Who shot calls the most?
I think it's me. It's
Ethan?
It's
Definitely,
Hidden.
yeah. It would be
One of
the
our tanks
yeah,
hidden
yeah,
or
yeah,
Ethan.
yeah.
Okay.
Hidden or Ethan.
Ethan, so how hard is it for you to shot call? Like, does it take a lot of effort, a lot of focus?
It doesn't really take a lot of effort. It's just that like I don't know, like I have to if I'm not in the correct headspace, like I'm like empty air.
Yeah,
Whenever
I got
I-
you. I got you.
yeah.
But when it's flowing, it's
When it's
flowing,
I'm
right?
flowing. When it's
Who's the
flowing, I'm
least
flowing.
communicative person on the team?
Chris.
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 Chris, you're now you're now the lead shot caller coming up with all the fight plans. How much pressure do you feel?
Pressure?
Yeah,
Chris.
A lot. That's why
Right.
I don't.
right. But the difference between you two is obviously like we all have different gifts and different strengths and different weaknesses. But Ethan, when he's practicing, it feels a lot easier, probably just from the reps. So the goal here is not to immediately throw 500 pounds on the bench press and put you underneath it. The goal is to put like where is y'all's reasonable limit right now? Like where can you how much communication could you do that's a little bit better than what you're doing right now, and you could do it comfortably. Do that until it gets easy, like Ethan's calling, right? Then we can ask a little more and a little more. And I want to be very clear here. Listen carefully. Obviously, you guys need to communicate more, obviously. But it's not always about like communicating more and more and more and more and more. Usually it's more and more. And then at some point, it's not about communicating more. It's actually about communicating better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like sometimes like Chris, you might be the person that only communicates like where your position or what ult that you're using, and that's it. You don't say you might be almost as quiet as you are right now, but just a little bit better quality with what you're calling, right? And Ethan, you might actually communicate less because it becomes a little bit more democratic. People are more kind of like taking up the reins, and what you communicate is more important because comm clutter is definitely a problem too. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at a VOD. We'll go through the structure. And I'm going to prefer something recent. So do you guys have a recent replay code? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the patch
Yep.
notes
There was a
recently.
patch, yes.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I was freaking losing my mind. I was in the middle of a huge project with like 20 DPS codes pulled up, and they all got wiped.
Oh no.
Ooh,
Yeah.
unlucky.
Ethan,
also,
are you sending the
yeah,
stream
I'll
code?
send them. I'll send
Okay,
them
okay.
the stream code.
Also, if you do need to sample our comms, we did just have a game like 4 days ago, and it's
Okay.
still on stream. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If we struggle with the replay code, we'll go with that.
Mhm.
You guys could also pretend. No, I'm just kidding. What would it sound like if you
Recreate.
guys did this? Right. Recreate the communication here. Okay. Well, we are already
Like
going. Okay.
I think this is like the first time we tried like running this comp with me on the SIG, so it's
Yeah.
gonna look a little rough.
Right.
This one's
Right.
rough.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the map I was talking about where we keep on going white room and
Our
then
our
we
Lijon Gardens possibly like our
It's our worst
part
map.
of our worst of like of
Every
Lijon
map.
Lijon Tower.
I assume you guys do better on like escort hybrid maps.
No, yeah.
We did well on Flashpoint and
Really? Impressive.
Yeah,
and-
Flashpoint is probably our best game mode, actually.
Really
Yeah.
I
impressive.
love
Impressive.
Flashpoint.
Now, I guess before we move on to the communicational like side tangent here, comps for you guys. You guys are a bit of an off meta team. What's the plan with that? Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You have more ceiling with where you could go with off meta. In other words, you could. I've worked with teams that are competitive OD that run full off meta, and I unfortunately played against teams and contenders like Avoided, Clockwork Vendetta that were full off meta and did very well. So what are your guys' overall team goals when it comes to like what you guys are playing? Are you guys trying to learn how to become more meta? Are you trying to be selectively meta? Are you trying to find ways that you could improve your off meta execution? What do you guys think? Kind of a
I-
broad question, I know.
Yeah, I guess right now with like these Sigma maps, it's more learning how to like play the meta because right now May's good, Sigma's good, and like we feel like it kind of lines up with our hero pool right now.
Sure.
And then but then for some maps like Watchpoint Gibraltar where we still run dive, it's more like running off meta because I do not play any dive characters. So
Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
like when it lines up close enough to meta, you play the meta. But when
like,
it doesn't line up, you go off.
one thing about our team is that like when it comes down to it, what's like really not because we're like practically like almost one tricks or like not just one tricks, but we're very inflexible players that we just learn how to frag out in the moments that like, oh, we're losing this fight, we need to frag out, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And everyone kind of gets in their own head and starts like playing independently, and then we win the fight at the end of the day.
Sure.
But like
sure.
we don't
It's
want
sloppy.
to rely on that, and that's like
Yeah.
super sloppy.
Sure. I guess it's like, okay, so let's be honest. You guys ever heard of was Jackson Pollock? Was that the guy's name? The painter?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the creative
yeah,
juices.
yeah.
Like that's kind of like where you guys are at right now. I don't want you to be an impressionist painter from the 17th century, right? Let's embrace your chaos. But I think that there could be very basic, tenuous, flexible structure with the chaos, right? So if you guys find success with the mechanical pop-offs and breeding in the chaos, that's great. But can we control and aim that chaos in a productive direction? So what I would encourage you guys is I would not encourage you guys to have a very, very structured, perfect, regimented communicational structure outside of a couple things. Instead, I would prefer you guys to lean more into the creative aspect, just as long as it's done within the constraints of we do ult track, we do have a very basic fight plan, then we just pop off. Because that's probably already better than what you're doing right now.
Okay.
So, like going into this, I mean, obviously this is more meta based, but like let's not overthink this, right? We see this matchup. How do we win? As simple as you can. Give me 3 sentences tops. How do you guys win?
Poke them out and force lamp and force out Maywall without having the Maywall split us in half.
So you're giving me the when that happens we will win, but how do we make that happen?
I think it's one thing what I observe is that like it's gonna be hard to push into this comp because it's a May sim. It's
Yep.
gonna be hard for one player to push through. So the thing is, if everyone's gonna have to go through, they have to go through and commit. But it's like how they play this. It was like I couldn't see the window or like when like because I'm playing the Sig here.
Yeah.
I couldn't actually see the window or actually like figure out like, oh, we should have just gone the other way or should have gone this way or instead.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cheat for you guys, and then I want you to deal with the consequences regardless. The really obvious answer for me is that this is the wrong rotation versus that composition.
Yeah.
Because your Sojourn doesn't have a good off angle. There's a lot more space to spam them out from the triple doors than from the Uno door. You got me? That's that simple. But you know what? Screw you guys. You're not allowed to do that rotate. You have to do the rotate that you did. You made your bed. You got to lie with it. So win the fight. How do you win the fight? Give me some solutions. Because it's not always about, oh, we're at a disadvantage. I guess we just lose, right? No.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Sigma takes space forward while Sojourn still tries to take the off angle, either on the 2 outer lanes.
Okay. Could be cheeky, but maybe you could get like a flank disruptor shot here.
I think we need to be aggressive.
So
Like
as the
seeing
Sojourn,
what
oh, go Ethan.
I think what I see here is that like their main sim are just sitting there and their Sig's kind of like almost playing like very safe, very careful because he probably knows that we have May, right? I think we have to play like super aggro, like with our May. It's like speed boost and wall their DPS to force their cooldowns, to force their lamp, to force everything. But by that time, my team's already on the point and we're fighting.
Okay. I haven't heard from Ace in a little bit, and obviously Ace is a pretty important person in this composition. So, what do you think, Ace?
So this is my first time running May on this map. Normally I'm on Sim. So I actually do not really know. I would
Come
try
up
to
with an
like wall.
idea.
I would try to like wall off one of the sides and kind of what Ethan said, just go aggro.
Sure.
But yeah.
Slurpee, what do you think?
Yeah, so with the DPS brain, I use my whole team as a meat shield and I kill bots.
Okay, sounds
So-
good. Chris?
So I would tell them to speed in fully, like everyone speed in.
All right, Chris, what do you think? What are your thoughts on? Do you agree with anybody? Disagree with anybody?
Um, I have no idea.
Okay, come up with something then. Putting you on the spot, I know. You're smart. What do you think? What is your take on this matchup overall?
Well, right, we do have the Sojourn.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was just trying to get a pick, and I think
Sure.
maybe being aggressive, as long
Who's-
as we're grouped, is fine.
Yeah, true. See, that's another way of looking at it. We haven't even talked about that, right? That was a good point from Chris. You know, there's also a chance here that we could just like farm a rail and then just like fish for a brawl then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it that way. Like we could look for a pick. Like we could just sit here and actually not take the brawl until Slurpee has rail and then we'd go. Like that's something that we've not even thought about, right? So consider it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think that there's necessarily a simple solution here, but we need to come up with something. We need to come up with something. And here's the really important thing: it doesn't have to necessarily be the right play. It just needs to be a play. You got me? It just needs to be a play. We're already at a disadvantage here. Like, let's not lie. But we used to have good players. So if we make a good trade, a good read, and we look for something, it could work. What could we make a play with? We talked Maywall. What about Disruptor Shot?
Disruptor shots on the Sigma will definitely pester him.
Sure. What about Rail, right? Obviously.
Mhm.
Sigma Rock, Bap Angle, I mean, whatever, right? So
LaBelle.
GG's, right? That's okay. Vengeance has been served. So, what was our problem here? You see the Maywall?
Like we're just mid fight. This is just like a constant mid fight here.
Do you see the Disruptor Shot? Right?
Yeah.
You see, I mean, even prior to this, right? We're not even a good angle to farm rail exactly. To be honest with you, so we take the brawl before we even farm our rail. So, like you said, I think that the way that you said is we're constantly like in a mid fight. We're just kind of fishing for something, but we don't know what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Now, I can sit here and tell you what you're looking for, but then what happens when the meta changes 2 weeks from now? We start all over again, right? So here's what needs to happen. Treat it like a fun exercise. Go into the fight and be like, I don't care what comp they're on. Ace, come up with something for us. Chris, come up with something for us. Slurpee, come up with something for us. And practice. Practice as individuals. Why is the Pachimari? You guys see that? Is that supposed to do that?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No, it's definitely a lighting error.
Okay. Come up with something. Try something, right? Because you have a lot of what CDs are. They're playmakers, right? They're playmakers, and so you create opportunities for yourself and you look for things. Now, and the funny thing is that you guys came up with a good Maywall plan. You came up with a good plan with Disruptor Shot. Chris came up with a good plan with a Railgun, right? Looking for picks. And yet, have we utilized any of these tools with any sort of timing or any sort of team play? Doesn't look like it to me, right?
No.
So it's just we're praying something randomly happens when instead, at the very least, we could try to synchronize that pressure a little bit and see if we create a pick. Because you know what happens? We could Maywall, Disruptor Shot, fish for a Railgun, and it doesn't work, but at least we tried something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put your frame up, you put the canvas up, you got your paints, and you just splattered something against the wall. And if it doesn't turn out great, that's okay, but at least you tried, right? That's the main takeaway. Now, it looks like we're trying something here. What do you guys think? Now, obviously, I assume you guys remember this, right? What was called?
I remember this. It was not
Us.
called. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
Now, why is calling this important? Because we're not blind. We can see that our sojourn's on the flank. But why is it important to call this?
To know the window of opportunity.
Yes, to know when.
that is
To know
awesome.
when. Because when should Slurpee peak this?
When the main team over there has cooldowns to engage.
Right.
To
Because
get, yeah.
right, because we need people to distract to set up this play. So let's take a look at our neutral here. Spam, 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 spam. What should be happening right now? 2 things that should be happening right now. Maybe even 3 things.
Your team has to catch up to the Sigma before he gets walled off.
Okay.
And then
Ace, what should you be doing right now? Sorry to interrupt you.
I should be looking for a wall.
Slurpee, what should you be doing right now? Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to keep it. Chris, what should you be doing right now?
Closer.
What is it?
I said closer.
Yeah, closer, probably. I mean, that's a great answer. Ben, what could you be doing right now?
I could be speeding in with my team.
Yeah. Now let's okay. We're gonna go down the line. Nope.
I love heal
on
amp.
healing.
You guys got me? You guys got me? So the question is who's at fault here?
It's everyone. Because
Everybody.
I'm not
It's kind of
communicating
everyone,
it.
yeah.
Now, this is the really, really important thing. Probably the most important thing we're going to talk about today. What should be called? Who should be calling right now? Does our May need to call wall? Does our Sojourn need to call the peak? Does our Bap need to call that she's pushing up? Does our Lucy need to call that we're speeding in? Does the Sigma need to call that we're pushing? Do we need 5 people calling this?
No.
No. What do we need?
One person.
Yeah.
One person. Now, this is the really important part. And sadly, this is where I'm not going to give you guys the answer. Who should be calling this?
It could be either the tank or the Lucio.
Could be. Who else could it be?
It could be.
Me.
It could be Slurpee.
It could be Slurpee because the Slurpee's still on the flank, right? Setting up the time. Who else could it be? Who's got the biggest cooldown in this Brawl trade?
Me.
May.
Ace.
Right now, yeah.
You know? So my point is that the answer is anybody. I really don't even. I mean, honestly, Chris, we could just be like, all right, Chris, take the wheel. You know? like call the timing when you want to push up here. Like really anybody. So what the takeaway is that what I want you guys to go into a scrim is to remember how we talked about, like, we don't need everybody to call like disruptor shot, May wall, like just somebody call the timing. Again, here, somebody call the timing of this push. When we're talking about neutrals, even when you're running a poke composition, there's still a cycle. There's still a cycle of when we're going to be looking to peak and push just a little bit, or just even peak and shoot, right? And if we're not peaking at the same time, it's GG's. This is a 5v1. This is a 5v1. My Sigma probably should die. Yeah, there it is. And that's it, right? So what is going on with Maze? Maze. May has looked better. Let's put it honestly. That is something else. Okay, but yeah, that's it. So that's all we needed to see. So did we play the matchup wrong? Yes. Could we done a different rotation? I mean, maybe. But the main takeaway is that we just didn't peak at the same time. That's it. We just didn't peak at the same time. Our Sigma did not stand a chance. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Okay. So
We go the same way again.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, it's hard to retake over bridge, right? So let's stop right here for just a brief second. Next scrimmage, next time you play this composition, and I don't care what the comp is. I don't care if it's Rhine Brawl. I don't care if it's spam. I don't care if it's dive. You're gonna look for a push or a rotation or a peak. Who are you going to try first to call the timing? Who's going to be the unlucky soul?
Probably your tank. I'm not gonna lie.
It's usually either me or
Maybe a
Ethan.
tank.
Okay. So that needs to be called consistently. Now, when it comes to communication, so you said it was you hidden, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Ethan will call the peak timing or hidden, depending on who's in, right? And then what does the communication from everybody else look like? Do you need to say anything?
You need to
They do
confirm
need to
whether
say
you can
something.
or not, right? Or if you have cooldowns to go.
Should we have our cooldowns to go?
You should.
Yes.
You should. What if you don't?
Definitely.
What if Slurpee gets a little saucy with it or takes chip damage and has to go back and grab Mega Health back? Who needs to communicate?
I do.
Right. So let me be honest with you guys. It's not about communicating when you can. It's about communicating when you can't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then
Makes sense.
all the rest of the people need to do is shut your darn mouth and hit your shots. That's it. Nobody needs to talk. So when we're talking about like communication, this is where the quality is more important than the quantity here, where we don't need everybody talking. We need somebody calling the timing of the cycle, and then anybody who can't, won't say it, so that we could wait for a second until you're ready and then go. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I'm scared, guys.
So, can I just say, in this fight, I told Ethan to tell me when they're going in.
Okay, so
It's
you
like-
were the one calling the engage. What are you guys saying? Is that stupid?
It's not awful.
No,
I-
I
I
think
mean,
it's
he's
good.
the one flanking. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Uh-oh. What do you guys see? Are we pushing?
Nope.
No.
Not pushing.
Not yet. So who needed to be saying, "Hold on"? what did we?
I need to say. I need to say. I'm not there yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now we're peaking and we're still getting healed, and now they know Slurpee's there, and then oh no, it's a disaster. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is what we call mechanics.
Rip.
Right? Like there, you have an ice block there, right? You missed your wall a little bit. You have an ice block there. It's not the end of the world, but I like this is where we choose our battles, right? Like okay, you fed on me, we didn't all hit our cooldowns at the same time, or maybe we messed up elsewhere. But the most important thing is that we get that initial cycle properly. And see, this is where we go into our Jackson Pollock mindset, where it's like if we can get that initial peak timed well, then you know what? Let it all go. Let the chaos reign. Does that make sense? After that, once we get that initial cycle going, the rest of the communication just is not as important. It's getting that initial cycle going and then going from there. And then even this, right? This is a troll. This is a troll. It's not a bad troll. You'll probably be okay, but it's still more of the same.
It's an unnecessary usage of cooldowns, I think.
It's just too early, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Ace is now the one going first, which is like, I guess, okay. Again, May is getting her head. Like, what's going on here? His hitbox is wild. But like, we could have waited a full second and we would have been fine.
Mhm.
And then maybe with that, you don't have to use your ice block. So then you're guaranteed to actually use it a little bit later. Get out of this, and so on. Oh no. Unfortunate. Now maybe we win this. Maybe. Oh, we don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying here?
Mhm.
You understand how absurdly simple this is? I guess that's kind of a dumb question, isn't it? But yeah, it's just about find the timing of our peaks, communicate if you can't, have the discipline to save your CDs or save your peaks around the same time. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you had done all of that perfectly, do you win that round?
Still probably not, considering
not-
that there's so many more factors than just the playmaking.
Exactly.
within that.
Exactly. But what you do is once you get that communication out of the way, you allow yourself to focus on yourself. You allow yourself to focus on what's the best use of Maywall? What's the best use of Lucio Boop? Should I be amping speed or amping heal? Is a Sojourn Flank a good idea? What's the best retake? What you do is you eliminate the most important variable like that, and you can focus on yourself now. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. And the key thing with that too is that is indiscriminately important. It does not matter what composition you're playing, dive, brawl, spam, or just absolutely torb me, roadhog, whatever. It matters. It matters.
Yeah.
Okay. The goat. Oh. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
It wasn't the best wall, but it's still because we got the pick. We can like, play a little bit. We can take this space and play a little aggro.
Yeah.
We don't need to push into them because they still have the Bastion form.
Yeah. Now what do you guys, was this communicated, I guess was the question. Because this does okay.
I believe that from here on out, like the communications got cleaner.
Okay.
Like it got slightly cleaner, I think.
Now
I was
what
actually in the headspace?
Now, do we need target focus called in situations like this? Because you guys brought up target focus as being an important point here. But like, let's say that we hit this May wall here. And like, let's say we wall off the Sigma and we wall off the Baptiste. Target focus matters. Right?
Yeah.
But why does it matter?
They die
Because
faster.
It depends on it depends on who dies first, and also the cooldowns that's gonna keep them alive.
Sure.
Like,
sure. They die faster. Yeah, exactly.
Because
Now,
Backflip has lamp.
right. Could some of us be shooting Sigma and some of us be shooting Baptiste? When is that acceptable and when is that not acceptable?
When you know you can't actually guarantee the kill.
Sure.
You can
Sure.
force out an ability, and then once that ability comes out, then
Sure. But you see, in that situation, again, the communication is really simple. We call BAP, we shoot BAP. That's it. We don't need to overcomplicate it. We just follow the call. Now, this is a problem. Why?
I can't see the sig.
Well, even if you could see the SIG, what else needs to be accompanying this push? If I turn around,
Proceed.
Your Sigma with his shield.
Speed boost in Maywall.
Oh,
speed
Need to-
boost,
Need to walk forward with
Maywall.
Oh,
You get me?
Yeah.
speed boost in Maywall. I think kill that Sigma there.
I think so. Or at the very least, we break his shield,
Or
force all the
force
CDs,
all the
force lamp.
cooldowns, yeah.
Right, because if the danger is if we don't force CDs with this Bastion turret form, then they push us with the Bastion turret form. It's not about who goes first or who goes second. It's about timing your pressure right to at the very least force CDs so that they can't then just run you over afterwards. Because this
I
is
think that's on me because I just did the turret form assuming we're gonna go force cooldowns.
and that's it, right?
Yeah.
See, we talk about this. Remember, we go back to the first round and we said, who should be calling this? Ethan can call. But then we immediately jumped forward and all of a sudden you were on the flank on Sojourn.
Yeah.
And you called and they didn't call that they not to push, right? And then now you're like, oh, we're going to push, right, guys? But that's a stupid assumption because the point's unlocking right now.
Mhm.
All we need is, guys, I want to push. And then what does Ace say?
I can't. Or
I can, right?
Yeah,
yes
yeah.
or no. I mean, it really
Yeah.
that's up to you. You know, you could look at this both ways. You could be like, oh, I think it's stupid to push right now, or I need to get point first. That's okay. That's your discretion. You could call this off, or you could say yes, and then we walk, and then or Abandon could be like, I don't have amp. No. Wait. Right? Or Chris could be like, you know, I don't have lamp. I don't have shift. They do. No. Right? It's up to you guys. Call it off, but you have to call it first for it to be called off.
Yeah.
okay. So then I have a question. How do you communicate? How do you get into the rhythm of communicating that really quickly to the teammate that made the call? So if Slurpe is pushing in with like the with his Bastion turret form, what's the fastest possible way of communicating, like without saying like, oh, I don't have shift, like they're having a whole sentence out?
No.
can't.
No,
Just
just no.
No.
Okay.
Wait or can't, whatever. Or you could just say no wall. Like if you look at the situation here and Slurpee, you hear no wall, but you're like, this guy's dead. Like I don't need wall. Use your discretion, right? Like let me be honest. There's always grace period, guys, and there's always nuance, right? What we need to do is we're not even at the point to where we can worry about nuance. Let's just focus on the fundamentals here. So if Slurpee, you ask, can we push? And A says, no wall. And you're like, well, I'm going to do it anyway because I see an opportunity. You know what? Sure, go for it. I'm fine with that. Works for me. But don't even worry about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It ain't that deep. Right now, we're not even at that point. So right now, we've used Sigma CDs. We've used Bastion CDs. Now they snap right back. And now we have a really awkward decision to make. Because do we wall push or do we kite the Bastion form?
I called to kite, play White Room.
Okay. But you see now, because we've misused our CDs because we didn't time properly, now we've created a really difficult situation for us.
Yeah.
We did really nothing with that Bastion form. May wall in the next 1 second. Otherwise, you guys are throwing.
Mhm.
All right, let's actually check the timer there. 5:05. I think we're throwing, guys. Oh, we missed it. We're throwing anyway. but you see, I was just a teeny bit too late. Just a teeny bit too late. And that's a really, really important thing. Also, I mean, you were just out of position. I get it. Okay. Okay. Even something like a Sig Rock, we might want to use in this circumstance here. Something to kind of keep in mind, Ethan. Because right now, a Sig Rock, pretty useful. Nice. Nice. But yeah, see now, do you see how this feels better? Why? Because if I look at the bird's eye view here, like right off of this, even though the wall is bad, if I look at bird's eye view here, what is going to be happening behind us? You see how everybody's engaged here? Everybody's engaged here. So of course it feels good, right? Of course it feels good. It's at the very least a 5v5. At the very least it's neutral. At the very least it's neutral. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have to keep looking at this over and over again. I think we've kind of made our point. Do you guys have any other maps that you want to look at, or do you want to keep going? It's up to you.
We do have one map that we definitely need to look at. Wait.
Well,
Wait, there's actually no. There's technically two, but the thing is, like, there's.
So there's there's two maps. There's Parisa third point where we had a 5-minute time bank and we still didn't cap, and then there's Watch Point Gibraltar, which we actually won, but we're running off meta stuff. Like we're running, like I am on May on Watch Point Gibraltar.
Sure. Whatever you guys want to look at, we can look at it.
Yeah.
We got half an hour.
I think we could do Parisa third point first, just because that might be quick, and then if we have any leftover time, it can go. Yeah.
Works for me. Let's take a look then. Shoot me the code when you get a chance.
Wait, give me a second while I try to find this.
Where's? So I guess while we're waiting, like, what are the main takeaways? What are the main points of action? And I'll message the notes over so you guys have something to look at.
Just like communicating the timing of engagements better, right?
Communication. Timing.
No need to rush into a bad engagement if your team's not up for it.
If you are not ready with CDs or positioning, remember the flank, right? Positioning, say no or whatever, call it off.
And to like make sure to like try something and do something, right?
Yeah. In neutrals, somebody must come up with something. Angle, CD, etc. Try. Everyone follows that engagement. Now, what I would recommend is, obviously a lot of this is kind of vague. It's purposely vague because I don't know what's going to work best for you guys. It might be Ethan, always Ethan. It might be Slurpee and Ace step up in certain situations. It might be Chris steps up in certain situations. It might be Hidden steps up in certain situations. Might be Hidden. I don't know. But what needs to be happening is you guys need to be specifically practicing, hey, we need to call the timings of our cycle and our push. Let's see what happens from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody complements that either by saying nothing and executing, or saying no and waiting. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's look at the Pariso. Third point. Is this more of the same in terms of the Sigma stuff, or is it something different?
I'm not playing this one. It's Hidden playing this one.
My personal opinion is that I think we just got too cocky on our attack because we steamrolled the first 2 points, and then on third point we kind of just it just feels like we stopped playing together. We kind of stopped calming as much or making like the right decisions, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is a great one actually to look at, because this is where we can apply what we just learned from the Sigma Maze stuff, but apply it in not an off meta, but an unorthodox standpoint. Because are we going to go brawl with these guys necessarily?
Not necessarily without speed, I don't think.
Right. So how do we play this matchup? I mean, there's a million ways. Where's your value hidden? Where's your value? What do you want to do? What are something that you can do?
I want to deny their DPS space.
Okay. Ace, what could you do?
I don't think I should be playing cart anymore. I was playing cart down the
Yeah.
first or the second point, but
Yeah.
I feel like I should be playing with my Sigma.
Okay. You could also wall up, contest on an off angle here. Right? Slurpee, what do you think?
Yeah. So I'm just looking for rails somehow.
Okay.
I can be an actual threat, to be honest.
Sure.
So it's just looking for the duels against, well, Alari's support, but against their DPS or Alari.
Sure. Chris, your thoughts? What could you contribute here?
Just with hidden.
Yeah.
Going up that way.
Yeah. Works for me. Shield pressure, peak timings. Yeah. Abandon?
I think if the team did stack on the left side, where you said we could wall up, I think everybody could go up there except for me. I could have been on the cart and throw like a pylon. I could have taken this high ground, yeah.
Yeah, taking an angle yourself. I mean, honestly, you guys could have gotten 3, 2, 1. Have your BAP Sigma push this angle here. Have your Iliari May like wall up, shift up, throw a pylon here, start to contest from this flank. I mean, there's so many things that you guys can do. So I hope that you guys are starting to kind of notice the vernacular that I'm using here, that a lot of this kind of sounds like timings again. You notice that? And guess what? I don't care if you're playing spam, brawl, or dive. It matters, right? The best Sigma comps in the world in Overwatch League last season, and really this season too, were teams that were really, really synchronized, really disciplined with 3-2-1 turn, 3-2-1 turn. You don't know if you're going to hit the shots, but you're creating the best opportunity to hit those shots by causing as much chaos at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you guys are operating at a disadvantage here because you guys have to peak at the same time. Otherwise, your Sig Shield breaks first. See, the problem here is it's okay, Hidden doing what he's doing. That's fine. But we really can't. But for example, this play from Slurpee. Like,
I felt wrong, I'm not gonna lie.
but I'm going to be honest with you. You can't be here.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm way too vulnerable.
Why? Where's Chris?
Ash. Oh yeah. Yeah, on
Where's
the other
Abandon?
side.
You see the problem here?
There's no
This is a
issue.
3v1. I don't care if you're lip on Sojourn. You're not winning this. You're done. It's over. So you know, it's very easy to look at this and be like, oh, you know, I fell. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're cooked.
Yeah.
So what needed to be called there? I mean, obviously, I think it was less about calling and more about general awareness. But what did you need to be aware of?
Positioning of like both
Where
sides.
my team was.
Right. So you can't peek. That's it.
Yeah, I couldn't peek.
And the funny thing is if you look at this from their Baptiste's positioning as well, why is this BAP window so bad?
Hidden's just able to get back into cover and like he's not able to do anything with it.
What about the rest of the Team Red? What are they able to do with it?
Nothing.
Right.
There's no angles with that window.
So you're not the only team that has this problem. You notice that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard to do this. It's not just like, oh, idiots, why don't you do this? Duh. It's hard. It's hard.
That was an insane blizzard, by the way.
You should look at it from my POV.
That is funny.
That's just no way. There's no way. There is absolutely no way. And look at the timing, though. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they backing
Hidden
off?
Called that. Yeah.
Hidden called for Blizzard, and I'm on cart, so I'm just like, okay, just gotta granny shot this real quick.
Look at that. Look at that. Push, 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 push. Yeah! Yes, guys. Yes. Nice job. Chris, Hidden, Ace. Brilliant. And now we're cooking. Now, hang on. Oh! This guy's just disgusting. Brilliant teamwork, guys. And oh, by the way, check this out. Why does Nephis gets toasted? What happens? Why does that poor Ashe get toasted? Why is that Ashe under so much pressure? What's happening?
Everyone's looking at him all at once.
Yeah, Hidden's on the angle. Chris is walking forward. It's beautiful. Now the Bob is zoning us out, which is a bit of a problem. This is great. Nice job, guys. Now hang on. What do we need to be calling right now? You see it?
Yeah.
What do you guys see?
We have to be together.
Get the dog on the leash, right? I get it. We're snowballing here, but I'm not saying that we need to stop pushing here, but we need to be very cautious because we have 1, 2, soon to be 3, maybe even 4 people coming out of that spawn, and 3
And we have
people
3 on card.
3 on card.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why we went to 3 on card there. I don't.
So you see
remember
Hidden's
that,
like crap. And that forces our regenerative burst. We're losing shield. So just be careful. Obviously, the cart was probably the biggest problem there. But this is a perfect example where the answer is no. Right? You got me? Wait, guys. Wait. We can hold this space. Now, I'm also going to be honest with you guys. It is really stupid that you guys have 2 on cart, respectfully. It is really, really stupid. I think you should have 4 people on top, 1 person on cart.
Who do you
honestly,
think that 1 person on cart should be in this comp?
It should be Larry. I think I make the mistake of being the person.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I really don't know. I think Iliari can take the high ground after, which is really, really useful. I think May can take the high ground afterwards, but Iliari is a little bit squishier than May, right? And being able to like wall off their Iliari and then just push the cart more is really, really useful too. I think if Abandon's like actually hitting shots here, like having this character up top here is like really, really busted, right? With Pylon for yourself. I mean, this is great. The problem here is that, I mean, really, truly, we have 3 people fighting. And they have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 3. I guess May's kind of fighting-ish, sort of, but I mean, our Iliari is literally useless. Literally useless. Right? So yeah, they comboed, which is like bad, but like, man, we were not ready for that at all. We were not set up. We did not have any space. Nothing. That is something else. They never expect the outburst to end. All right. That's crazy. Okay. Peak timings, right? Peak timings. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do not want my Iliari stacked with my team when we're running BAP. I want Iliari smoking something and going on an angle. I mean, you can work with your May on an angle here. Like, I'm the angles guy, right? So like angles, but really, truly, like I do not like this setup at all. I think our timing here is pretty decent. We have 5 people peeking. Excuse me, 5 people peeking. That's a tough one. 5 people peeking. Jeez, at the same time. Hey, that went 3 times fast. But really, truly, no. What the frick, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? So you guys tell me, how would we set up this retake differently now? What would you do?
I think instead of getting our Soj and Alari on the same angles, so we can get them off angling and denying their Alari as well.
Sure. And you guys are very married to the May wall, right? But we already talked about like being able to May up here is actually super broken too. So there's that option too, right? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You could do either one. I think either one's fine, but this is respectfully just a garbage setup. So it is what it is. That's all right.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, even if we really want to nitpick here, if we want to push here, all right, there's the May wall. What did we do with our May wall? When did we May wall is the question.
It's a bad Maywall. I Maywalled over there too because we were getting poked at
Spam?
from
Yeah.
that angle, but yeah.
It's okay. It's an all right May wall. But yeah, okay. Let's keep going. Any questions, guys?
No, not
Nothing.
really. I think our ult usage here is kind of poor overall
Okay.
as well. Considering we had 5 minutes, I think we could have built a proper combo and done this, or gotten more picks with our ults.
I mean, you're just doing yourself no favors, essentially, because like you can only really hit the Sigma here if you've been able to synchronize a push with your Mei or Sojourn on an angle, you would have been able to peek this safely, right? And hit actual people besides the tank. And we're also down our Mei as well. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is just poor map control more than anything else. We're kind of stacking and brute forcing, stacking and brute forcing, stacking and brute forcing. So it just feels way more chaotic and way more stressful than it should be. Ace needs help. Nice. But to be honest, where does our Iliari die? From behind, from an angle. Where does our Mei die? I mean, it's like when you guys stack like this, you give their Iliari, you give their Genji like every off angle in the world to control. So I actually think that, when we talk about timing here, not the biggest issue. Actually, just really bad fight setups. And then obviously a little bit of hubris there where we're like, surely, guys. Surely this will work. Maybe not when we're down 2. Maybe not. Okay. Oh no, guys. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, like we're all so grouped, We're all so grouped. And I think this is where, like we need to recognize that being stacked is just not good. It's going to give that Sigma too much value. It's going to give that Mei wall too much value. I mean, like this is case in point, right? Like when they use Mei wall here, it feels. They don't even. Yeah, I mean, look at like this feels terrible, right? Like it just cuts off everybody from following up. Why is that allowed to happen, right? Well, it's because we're stacked. So when you guys are confronted with this, let's get to the blackboard here. You ready? So when you guys are confronted with something like this, right? When you look at something like this, if you've never played the map before, or you don't have a lot of reps in the map, and you haven't sat there for 7 hours and VOD reviewed the perfect off angle, what's the solution in the middle of a scrim? What do you do?
You just
You
try different
experiment.
things.
You experiment. Yeah, that's it. That's it. How does anyone learn anything? By experimenting. You guys are all very familiar or are relatively familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of your character. So come up with something. And then when we bring timing into that, we take an off angle. I want to try a Mei wall push up top left, or like, can we group up and like actually wall off the Sigma and just like actually force him out? You get the timing right with that. 3, 2, 1, go. And you're cooking. Iliari angle, Sojourn angle. Maybe your Sigma has a position that's to try. Come up with something. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's the same thing kind of like with the neutral on the Lijiang Tower, right? You guys have CDs, you guys have kits. Figure it out. This isn't it. This isn't it.
Yep.
Because you guys are like looking at this and you're like, well, we should just like kind of run it down mid and eventually it'll work, right? But like playing it safe is losing you fights. And it's not even necessarily playing it safe, really. Again, it's like, oh, we get the pick, but like we're still on the floor. We're still on the floor. And our Sojourn now, who got the pick, was on the high ground by herself. So, okay, let's actually look at the Gibraltar a little bit. Let's look at the Gibraltar a little bit. I don't want to be redundant here. So, what's the main takeaway here? Main takeaway for not this map in particular, but maybe the spam comps in general.
Spam angles.
Yep, angles and creativity.
Yeah.
Positioning. When in doubt, experiment as a unit. Okay. Any questions?
I think that makes
Okay.
sense.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. I'm really stoked to see this. Oh yes, this is the good stuff, guys. This is the good stuff. Oh yeah, this is tight. All right, now like, okay, so this is the best part about this is I get to pretend like I know how this composition works. But you know what? You guys tell me how this composition works. Like, what's the strategy here? How do you win this matchup? Go down the rules. Diva.
I'm playing to peel my Sim and what is it, Ilari?
Yeah.
Here.
Yep.
That's
All right.
basically all I'm playing. I'm playing to counter dive.
Your job.
My job? Poke at the supports and basically make them not be able to peek.
Sure. Chris, your job?
I just heal bot, and I try to shoot the people I can see.
Yeah, seems good. Ace.
Mhm. I just play poke, and then I also kind of play to protect my supports a little bit.
Sure. Iliai. Bannon.
I'm taking angles as well, poking at the enemy team, trying to prevent
Love
them
it.
from
Love it. Love it. Yeah, see, the way this composition works is you guys actually don't have a ton of peel tools. I mean, you have Pylon and you have Matrix, which is okay. But you have a pretty decent number of squishy characters. But what these characters do is they hurt people, right? You have some poke damage, you have your sim orbs. So let's see what we do. If you could put them on the back foot before they dive, they're gonna have a really hard time diving. Let's see what we got. Gonna rotate across. They have to deal with sim orbs. They're pushing cart. They're just getting a good angle. Greninja is already getting poked out. Love to see it. Is he gonna have to use his bubble? Oh no, but he has to drop. We TP out. I'm just enjoying narrating this as much as I am anything else.
So
You have any questions about this? Go ahead.
yeah. Who drops a cart here?
I
feel like
go
when
ahead.
I dropped a cart, I feel like I give up a lot of pressure up top
You do.
for Winston.
You do. But somebody has to do it.
Yeah, I know. And
so
it's a little dangerous for Sim or
It is.
Surge because it's Tracer, right?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So I as long as you guys have good turret placement and your Soj Sim and even really on it are like actually doing damage here, I think it's okay. I actually think Abandoned, you could probably be a little bit more aggressive with your positioning here with Pylon here and try to poke out aggressively. Like the way that you play as Iliari, you kind of want to be Dove, right? If you're stacked here, they could avoid both of your sightlines by like let's say rotating in here and pushing out the Sojourn. And then now you're going to get Dove, and both of you guys are going to die. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sim gets Dove, she can TP out. Sojourn gets Dove, she can slide out. Iliara gets Dove, she can outburst out. So you guys kind of all need to be taking positions around, your old grandma and try to bait your dives onto you. Old grandma will help you get you out. Your defensive cooldown will help get you out. Your matrix will get you out. But if you guys all group up like you are here, you're cooked. It's done.
Yeah.
And you also won't get good damage. Like, look at their HP right here. Besides the early pressure from the Sim and the Winston, they're all full. That's a big red flag. You need to keep them at like mid health or missing a couple of cooldowns. Because remember the whole timing thing. What do these guys want to do? 3, 2, 1, right?
Yep.
Don't let them do it. Force a blink, force a deflect, force a nade, force a armor pack, force a bubble. You got what I'm saying? Throw off their dive by taking angles and poking them out early. And as it is right now, I mean, that's pretty good. We need to force bubble. Do we force bubble? Ooh, yes, we do. So now we're safe. That's the funny thing. It's like now we're safe. So now we can do more damage. I mean, to be honest with you, Ace, if you really want to get spicy with it, if you see this, you could pop your teleporter right now and take a TP right here.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to be like, all turn on you, panic. Just TP right back out. And then now they're not going to be able to dive anymore. You kind of get what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
And honestly, you could even teleport. I'm probably not on top of the brig, but you could do all sorts of spicy stuff with it. I actually like Sim. I like Sim a lot. I think there's a lot of flexibility you could do with it. Their Winston's kind of bad, which is helping things a little bit. He doesn't really know how to use cover, but you guys can force those errors. So I see. This is. I mean, look at what Ace is doing, right? Look at the ego here, right? Look at the ego. Look at the ego, right? What are they going to do about it? Oh, you're going to nade me? That's cute. If you dive me now, I just TP out. And really, like, I don't even know why you TP'd out, right? They didn't dive, just keep poking them out, right? Do you see how you're preventing the dive from happening by taking that position? Yeah. And that's why Diva's really strong too, because she's not just about the peel. It's also about, like, if you sit here and shoot the Winston, you can maybe force bubble before he even jumps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the problem here? What's the problem?
They're all there in my TP breaks.
And your TP breaks. In addition to that, look at the rest of your team. Where's the pressure from the rest of your team? It's gone, right? There's nothing. Yeah. There's literally nothing there, right? So there's
I had no idea that they were even there yet. Because,
right. So I think, like, obviously we need to be clear about like where we're fighting here. But obviously I think 4 people turning on a Tracer and cart is probably a little too much. Sayonara. Wait, no way. You survive. Astonishing.
Defense matrix is surely balanced.
Really. That's 3 seconds defense matrix is like one of those things that people forget. And like Diva's not very strong individually, but that thing is stupid.
Yeah.
That thing is stupid.
She's very oppressive.
this is also my bad here because I mean it wasn't Comm that we backed so far up. I thought we were just going to take like control room here, but instead we kind of backed up. So I'm by myself, and
again,
that was not calmed. So,
You're right, and again, it's like one of those things where like they theoretically could hard focus you no matter what you do and kill you, but like it should take. Look how expensive it was for them. If we had been able to shoot them at the same time, which we weren't, right? So that's the problem. That's why we need to be communicating because we need to be able to punish them. Because if they wanted to, they could kill anybody on your team besides maybe Diva. But it's about how much it costs, right? Because like they could just kill Ana if they wanted to, but they should all die to do so. Good punish from the Nano Diva forces a lot of resources, and really we could be walking forward here. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to deny their rally from getting value into my backline with Genji Tracer.
Yep. I think this is fine. It's like obviously you're like, oh, they pulse bomb. I should have eaten the pulse bomb. But like, what would happen if you turned around on the Tracer? You know what I'm saying? It's about like it's about balancing the peel and pressure. And for most of the characters, it's going to be pressure. Most of the characters, it's going to be about doing damage and not peeling.
I don't like this bomb.
I don't like this bomb either.
Yeah.
We agreed
I thought
together.
about it after. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just...
Okay. Now, let's see how we do on second point. You guys got a few more minutes?
Yeah.
All right, I'd love to look a little bit more here. So we could take top and clear him out. We go Winston as well. I actually don't mind the Winston too much. Winston is definitely not going to peel as well, but you can control their backline and their DPS a little bit better. The Genji, I guess, a little bit better. Again, it's going to be one of those questions of timing, though. So if let's say that our Winston jumps top, what can the rest of us do?
I could go with the Winston.
You sure could.
Yeah.
You sure could.
With
an Ana pocket, right? You could TP up. You could have your Sim TPs across to here with your Iliari, while the Sojourn Winston go top with the Ana pocket in the back.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So even though you guys are going in two different directions with two different people, it's still a timing thing, right? Because what would happen is that the Winston would be like, where's my peel? Where's my peel? Well, your peel is currently dueling a Symmetra and Iliari here. You guys get what I'm saying? So use it. Timing is everything, right? And I think it's about like whoever sees the play, like even here, like I see the play, I want to drop, or like if I'm Sim here or if I'm Chris and I see a nade, like call the timing of that, and we can either say no or we can say yes, or we can say nothing and we can just go.
Yeah. Here I call. I'm gonna drop behind them when they go to push forward. And,
okay.
I'm
right.
completely alone, but
it works, right?
out,
It doesn't. You don't need to be grouped up here. The Sim wall is perfect. Plus the Winston engage. I think you guys win this.
This nade is huge too.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. I mean, even without the nade, this fight's won. Totally kills her engaged. That was team play right there. Did you guys see that? Do you see how ugly that was in terms of like Sim wall and enabling a Winston time? But it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like there's certain synergies that obviously are better than others, but overall the idea like done together can work. And the nice thing about Overwatch 2 as well is it's like this doesn't work with Overwatch 1 Sim. But Overwatch 2 Sim, there's so much more that you can do with that character, right? Characters like Iliari, like she could be, she's not exactly the best dive character, but she could be used as anti-dive. She could be used as spam, right? Even Sojourn, right? Is she a spam hero or is she a dive hero? Yes, right? Like it's really, there's so much dynamics to the kit. Let's watch one more fight here. Now, this is where we talk about communication here. We haven't talked a lot about this one in particular, but when we talked about neutral, we were looking for a CED, looking for a timing to go. Now we're talking about ults. What do we do here? Again, there's no wrong answer here. You see what you guys got right, the top left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could use railgun,
Yep.
or like OC to pressure, or we could also like wait for Nano Monkey. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You could open with Iliario. You could try and build Nano and peel Nano, or you could go in aggressively with your own Nano, or Nano Overclock, or Nano Winston to enable Overclock, or do one then the other, or you could just play to punish. Like you could just play to hard peel. But again, the plan needs to be there using the ults that you have. So we talk about over-ulting versus under-ulting. A lot of it's because we didn't have a plan before going into it. Like right now, I want to know if we were actually peaking this. No. You see this? I knew it. Like I knew it. Like I look at my Winston jumping in and I'm like, wait, why is he getting melted? Because there's two people doing nothing. Now, I assume you guys were worried about cart, I assume. But then that means that this needs to be called off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't do this. Like Hidden shouldn't get killed like that. Like that's ridiculous.
Die. I literally should die.
You should die. You should die. You should die. And then what ends up happening is we have to overcompensate. Be like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, he's dying, he's dying. And so then now Chris is just by herself. I mean, even if we landed the nade, you're already on the way out. It's too late at that point. But yeah, okay. So main takeaways here, I think, is you could put any comp together in any situation with any strategy in any combination of A, B, C, D. You could throw in black pepper into your ice cream and then just throw in random ingredients. I don't care what ingredients you do to make your meal. Just cook it. Okay, just cook it. Just have a very basic. And you notice that like when we were looking at this, we were very, very surface level depth. We really did not need or want to go into super, super micro or details. I want you guys to figure that out on your own. And because you know your characters well, to just have fun with it. But what were the main takeaways for you guys? What are the things you need to do next scrim, things to practice overall?
Experimenting and trying stuff.
Yes. Experimenting and trying play ideas, right?
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Nobody's going to think less of you if you come up with an idea and you die.
And timing them as well.
Yeah.
Timing those plays, whether neutrals or ult plays, right? Communication. Saying no is just as important as saying yes for timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Okay. Well,
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
if any questions come up, I want you guys to message me right away. I messaged Ethan. I dumped all the notes, so Ethan, you could just share all the notes. There's only a couple of points.
He had to go
but-
to work. So.
Oh, okay. So I just dumped notes in Ethan's channel.